Okay, from the opening screen, just click on Create a New Bridge Design. Now read this design requirement blurb here, but I am going to give you design constraints in your project handout, specifically the height of the bridge, the minimum height of the bridge, because we need to get ship traffic under the bridge. Click No here. First decision is the height of the deck or the height of the roadway. You can lower the roadway, and as you do that, 20 meters, 16 meters, and so on, off the water, the deck is getting shorter, the bridge is getting shorter, and therefore the bridge structure will cost less. However, the site cost goes up the lower we go, because we have to do excavation on both approaches to the bridge, and that costs money. See, it's already up to $101,000 in site cost, and I haven't even built the bridge. But that will give you a shorter bridge. I'm not going to allow you to use this lowest setting, as I mentioned before. Okay, decision 2. You can go with a standard abutment arrangement shown here. You have an abutment on each end of the bridge, or you could use arch abutments, and you can change the height of those. Third decision, do you want a pier in the middle of the river? If you do, it costs, it adds to your site cost, because that's concrete that has to be poured in the middle of a river, but it gives you a center point to help support a longer span like this. The taller you make the pier, the more it's going to cost, the more it's going to add to your site cost, but the less steel you're going to need on top of the pier. Next decision is cable anchorages. You can go with none, as shown here, or you can add one on the left. It's kind of like a dead man anchor sitting there that you could get creative and tie into. You could put a tower, a steel tower, over this left-hand abutment, and you could run steel rod from that dead man up to your tower and then down and distribute steel rod to the connection points of the roadway. So that gives you something to play with. And you can do 2 of those. You can have one at each end if you want. Next is the deck material. You can go with cheap, medium strength concrete, but it has to be thick. 0.23 meters, that's 23 centimeters, is about 10 inches thick. So that's a big slab of concrete, 10 inches thick, very heavy, that must be supported. You can use, as an alternative, high-strength concrete, containing more Portland cement. We call that a rich mix, and that's going to cost more. See, it added to the site cost. Let's see, it added about $4,000 to the site cost. But it's only 15 centimeters thick, which is about 6 inches, which should be a tremendous weight savings to go from 10 inches to 6 inches. So that's another thing you can play with. I will give you the loading constraints in your handout. Next, you can go with no template at all, or you can use one of these built-in templates above the roadway or below the roadway, and they're all the same cost. See, the site cost isn't changing as I click on these. Okay, and then lastly, give your project a name and put your name on it so that these things will print out on your project reports. And then click Finish. Okay, step 1, grab the joint tool right here, and it gives you a lot of leeway. You can position the joints just about anywhere you want. And then once you've done that, grab the member tool. So select the material. Do you want solid bar? Do you want hollow tube? So the first number, 240, is the depth of that member, 240 millimeters. That's about, 24 centimeters. That'd be about 10 inches deep. The second 240 is the width, 240. So it's roughly 10 inches deep, 10 inches wide. And then the third number is the thickness of the steel, 12 millimeters thick, which is about 1/2 inch. So this would be a hollow tubular shape with roughly 1/2 inch thick steel. Take your drawing pencil. You can save a lot of time if you're doing a straight line just by doing that. And you can pretty much draw whatever truss shape you want. So I've just drawn a very simple truss. Everything is hollow tube, which is probably wrong. These members along the bottom are in tension. You probably want to make them rods. How do you do that? You click on this arrow. You select the member like this. It's member 24. In fact, click on this yellow pound sign and it'll number all the members. Now, click on 24 and select a different shape if you want. Make it solid bar. Use a different material. Change the size and so on. That's how you modify it. And once you have it all ready, come up here to test, do a load test, and it's saying, okay, it's unstable. And look, I left a square in the middle. Okay, so let's fix that. Let's see, I don't want to move that. I want to grab that tool, fix that. Okay, come back here to test, and then click right here, drawing board, and that'll get you back to the starting point. So it did hold the load. The cost is very high. It's about 350 grand. So my next step is to look at this list of members and optimize each one of them. Let me give you a quick strategy for doing that. Look at the last two columns on the right. Look at these ratios. Member 1, the one over on the left. So the actual weight that it is holding divided by the allowable amount of weight that it can hold is only 0.64. So it's a little bit oversized. We could probably trim back on it. The next one is a really low ratio. Number 2 is only 0.23. So again, this ratio is what you're looking at. And the ratio here is the actual applied load that it is carrying when the truck drives across, divided by the allowable load that it can carry. You want all these ratios down this column to be as close to 1 as possible. 0.23 is very low. It's only carrying 23% of its capacity, in other words. So you could make that smaller. You could use cheaper material for that one. You could span a longer distance with that one. All right, let me show you some of these buttons. This yellow one puts numbers on. This green button right here gives you a drawing tool. You can move these around. There's a scale on the left edge and on the bottom edge to help you place your joints. These three adjust the precision of your joints. So I would use this one all the way over on the right, because then you can move these around just in tiny increments and play around with them. All right, this calculator symbol gives you a breakdown of the cost. The materials are most of the cost here, $243, and then the connectors, and then the labor, and then the site costs, and that gives you a breakdown. So now I'm going to show you how to optimize a really cheap bridge. So this is at 179.7. Let's do a load test. So member 7 failed, 1.03. Let's try making that member a little shorter. Just grab the joint, move it over with your arrow. Let me kind of show you where those joints are. So we're here about two over here on the left. Come over here, what is that, 5.75 maybe, and about what, 4.5, and that one over on the right is a little bit different, maybe 14, and then finally that middle one is about, I don't know, 5.25 by 10, something like that. So now here's your strategy. Look at the last two columns, this ratio, 0.73, 0.79, and so forth. This is the applied tensile force divided by the allowed strength of that member. So the closer you can get these fractions to 1, the more efficient it is. So we probably can't do much with these. They're already hovering around 0.7, 0.8. Let's look at these next members that are in compression. Again, the numbers are pretty high. Right down there to number 11. When we get to number 12, maybe we can do something with that. It's not a very high ratio. So what this is telling you is that the applied force, the actual applied force divided by the allowable strength of that member, given the material and the size and whatnot, and the length is not very high. So these are the ones you want to optimize right here. So I don't know, probably the easiest tweak would be to just make those shorter. Okay, shorten them up a little bit. You can tell the profile of the bridge is a little flatter now. So let's try that. Bar is expensive. Let's try using tube there, because look, you even have some compression going on with number 18. So let's change those a little bit. Okay, that did not work. They're too small. Let's move them up to 80. Okay, that worked. Brought the cost down to 173.7. Okay, now I made them even shorter. You can see the profile of the bridge is even flatter than it was. Let's give that a try. Okay, now look at the ratios. These are pretty high. Probably can't do much there. These next compression members are pretty high. We're in the 80s and 90s. What about the last group? It looks like we have a little leeway here, especially these. So try making them smaller and see what happens. Okay, I made these smaller. It didn't work. The truck crashed. So I made them shorter instead. I just moved the joints around. I got it down to 172.9. Let's see if that works. Okay, tweaked the joint location a little more, got it down to 172.7. That one works. So I'm going to stop there. Got it down into the 172s. One of you guys is going to get it even lower than that. How would you do that? What would you attack next? Well, looking at this list, one of the things I would try is with these tension members. Right now I have them set at tubing. Try putting solid rod. Try putting solid rod or solid bar, and that's more efficient under tension. Try doing that. You could also try cheapening the material. Right now I have it set on the most expensive material, and you could go down a notch and maybe even make the members a little bit bigger and save some money that way. Keep in mind you're going to have to do them in groups. You can't just do one because the connections would cost more money. So make those changes in groups, and be sure to follow the constraints in the handout that I gave you in class, and let me know if you have any questions.